Staying in contact. I'm London Mitchell. Each week, we take a few minutes to examine an issue facing our communities here in Northwest Ohio and introduce you to individuals who are working to address those issues. In this installment, we are discussing the quality of Lake Erie water. You may recall the Toledo area water crisis in 2014 and all the discussion about algal blooms. A group calling itself Lake Erie Advocates maintains the water is still toxic today. My guest is a member of Lake Erie Advocates, Sue Carter. The group blames so-called factory farms for much of the pollution. I asked Sue to explain that term, factory farm.
Well, first of all, it's not a farm. That's so misleading. It's an animal feeding operation. And it's nothing farm about it. It's thousands of animals squashed together in a space, and it's a corporate enterprise. It is not a family farm.
Outside of our concern maybe for the conditions the animals are kept in, why is this a concern for those who are interested in the quality of the Lake Erie?
As we all know, too frequently we look at the lake in the summer and see green slime. It was there before our water crisis in 2014, but that brought it to a incredible nationwide head. Everyone knew about our crisis. And the crisis came from the concentrated animal factories. And everyone knew that. They were in denial until that happened. What happens is those animals do what they do. They urinate, they defecate, they bleed, they die, and that effluent goes into the ground, goes into pools. It is liquefied because there's so much of it. And eventually, because we live in a swamp, black swamp, in low, it drains into Lake Erie. It is not treated. It is not regulated well. It just goes into the lake. And the proof of that is it hasn't gotten any better. You would think a water crisis in 2014 would make everybody in the state say, good Lord, we must save our lake. Well, that didn't happen. Since that time, they've added probably over 5 million more animals in more of these factory farms. They have granted them space. They have ignored the ones that aren't quite up to the thousands that they count, and they're still doing the same thing. So the lake is no better than it was. It's worse, and we're all going to have to deal with it again this summer, and it's ruining our treasure, the treasure of this state, and certainly the treasure of Ohio here.
My understanding is that Governor DeWine has a program in place that focuses on the quality of the water of Lake Erie. Are you alleging that he's ignoring the factory farms issue?
Of course, they have put thousands, millions of dollars in a program called H2 Ohio, which does lovely things for organizations, for research, for wetlands. That has nothing to do with stopping the factory farms from increasing, adding more animals from defecating. It has nothing to do with cleaning the water. It is a nice program that is a way to look like we're doing something without doing anything. Can you imagine a nice little wetland taking care of the problem of millions of animal defecation going into the lake? It's just a nice way for politicians to look like they're doing something. They're doing something for the environment, but they're not doing anything to solve the lake problem.
Well, what, in your opinion, is happening with the EPA on this issue?
Well, the EPA is not regulating these things. They are okaying more of them. There's a lawsuit right now that we're not involved in, but the county commissioners certainly are, and another legal organization. That lawsuit is to make the EPA do their job, or we wouldn't be suing them if they were doing their job. And that's still in the courts. It has been handed down and handed down. It's been there for years. And the EPA is pretty much hand in hand with big agriculture, and big agriculture is hand in hand with the politicians that run Ohio. And this stuff is going to just go on and on because of that. This is a political issue. This is environmental, moral, and political.
So, what is your outreach then to Joe Average Citizen who is listening to us and wants to know how to find out more information and how to get more involved?
Lon, one time you asked me, why should anyone believe Sue Carter? I love that question. You don't have to believe me. Watch the lake this summer. Don't let your dog go in it. Don't swim in it. Don't let your children play in it. And the average citizen can see that there's an education there. You can go to lakeerieadvocates.org, or Waterkeepers is another wonderful resource for information, and find out why this is happening, what they can do about it. Because it's political, it needs people power to change the government's position on some of this. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but you can't remain silent and watch this happen to this beautiful lake every summer and not say or do something.
Recently, the Metro Parks had a conference or a seminar about the quality of Lake Erie. Lake Erie Advocates, I assume, rather upset you were not included in the panel discussion?
Yeah, I wouldn't say upset is more than surprised. And the topic was water quality in Toledo. Local organizations were represented. Lake Erie Advocates, the number one issue about water quality, let's face it, is CAFOs, animal manure, etc. So we weren't invited, Lake Erie Advocates, because we're one of the prime people fighting this. Sandy Ben from Waterkeepers, brilliant on this subject, not invited. Dr. Jeff Reuter, not invited. So we thought, how can they talk about this without talking about CAFOs? So we sent them a message and put out a press release that we would be there, an informational picket. This isn't a demonstration. We wanted to be there. Well, it turned out really well. Dave Zink from the Metro Parks, Dave said, that's an oversight. We want to work with you. We know who you are. We want to work on this issue. We will put something together with you. So win-win for everybody. But the nice thing is we went to the talk. We met people at the doors with our signs. Lake Erie's not a toilet, factory farms are killing animals, whatever. The lake is polluted. We have nice, great big signs and handouts. When people went in, we said, hi, we're from Lake Erie Advocates and we're interested in you seeing this program and asking about CAFOs. So it's all nice, well done, educational. The Metro Parks were not offended. They wanted to work with us, and it turned out really well. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to be there, speaking out, and not letting things happen without putting the main issue, the elephant in the living room, the CAFO in the living room, in the face of anybody that's concerned about the lake.
Boy, that is a powerful statement. Lake Erie is not a toilet.
Mm-hmm. And that's how the CAFOs are treating it. It is a toilet for their animal effluent.
What do farmers tell you? Okay, not farmers, but the operators of these factories tell you. I assume you've confronted them personally, asking to take action to prevent the pollution.
Oh, they don't want to talk to us. We've confronted them we've been around, almost 10 years. Mike, other people have confronted them in their face
And
at
when you
their
mention
places.
Mike, you're talking Mike
Mike
Furner.
Turner, I'm sorry, he's our director. So yeah, he's more confrontational than I am. But anyway, and we've sued them. We have done all sorts of things. This is a business. These are corporations. These aren't people that are our neighbors. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to hear from us, but they will. That's what we do. That's why we're an organization that does this kind of thing. We don't want it. We want to be educational. We go to schools, we educate in public hearings, but we have to confront. And that's why we stepped this up to be a confrontational and educational organization. Luckily, the politicians in our area, in Toledo and Lucas County, are on our side on this. They have taken a strong stand against this because it's their lake. The rest of the state, they don't care about what happens to Toledo. In fact, let me just point out that when our water quality was so dangerous, Toledo, an area taxpayers paid to have the new mechanics, the new system put in so our water would be safe. Nobody else paid for that except us. The state of Ohio didn't step in to save us.
Well, you mentioned it many times that this is a political issue and that the legislators from our area are concerned. So we do have some champions
Oh,
in the
yeah.
State House.
Yeah. Definitely. City Council has long ago taken a stand on this. County commissioners are suing the EPA. Mayor Kapsakevich has always spoken up about this. He says that we're just being, used, and this is a crime. And it really is. It really is. Toledo and our area here that touches this beautiful lake is being neglected and abused.
But down in Columbus, who's fighting for us?
Our politicians that we represent us will do that, but they're outnumbered. Come on, it's little Toledo, and they're outnumbered. We do have some lawyers and a lawsuit. Let's see what happens with that. We're not hopeful, but that's in the works, and I don't know when that's ever going to be settled. It was just passed on to another judge recently, so it's suing the EPA to do better, do their job, do more monitoring.
You call it Little Toledo, but it doesn't sound like you're taking a back seat. David slayed Goliath.
That's why we do this. When you think by Little Toledo, I mean, who the government pays attention to, the big C's, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, and Toledo is obviously the way this Lake Erie issue has been treated shows you that we're really down there on the list of priorities.
For people who want to monitor the situation, are there any government agencies, the National Weather Service or the National EPA, that keeps track of the algal blooms?
A number of places you can check this out. I mean, we follow these all the time. We have people on our board and our committee that are physicians, nurses, scientists, and scientist activists that do this. So I would suggest just going to Waterkeepers. It's online. They've got a great site, or LakeErieAdvocates.org, and find out where those places are. They monitor all the time. And with summer coming up and the crisis coming again, they'll be monitoring. And you'll be hearing that in the news. The Blade follows us very closely too.
Sue Carter is with Lake Erie Advocates. Their website is LakeErieAdvocates.org.
Save our beautiful lake. Protect the animals that are being abused. We didn't even talk about that, but the abuse of animals in factory farms is beyond horrible. You wouldn't do that to a dog. And check our website if you want to see some of those, if you can stand to, So it's more than just water. It's animal abuse, it's environmental, it's political, it's moral. That's how I feel about it.
Sue, you have definitely given us a lot of food for thought. I'm London Mitchell. Love to hear from you. You can reach me through my website, londonmitchell.news. And you can also follow me on Blue Sky. Please accept this invitation to join us again next week as we continue staying in contact.
Previous installments of Staying in Contact with London Mitchell are available on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, the Stream 419 app, and londonmitchell.news.